Hey, I'm Michelle Pippin with BeMichellePippin.com and WomenWhoWow.com, and today I want to talk with you about perception and turning positives into negatives and turning negatives into positives. But first, I want to let you know where this came from. You know that my husband is a total sports fanatic, and so every morning in our house, what's on but ESPN? And this morning, all the news was about Mariano Rivera, who is a pitcher on the New York Yankees, and he had torn some stuff in his knee and is probably out for the season. And so my husband is really uptight about all of this. And this morning they were talking about his career and how he had one of the lowest ERAs of the league and potentially of all time. And the ERA is an earned run average, and his ERA is 2.21, and the goal is to have that number as low as you can get it as a pitcher. And I instantly remembered back when I was playing rec softball, and for some reason, this one coach put me in as pitcher. This is not a position I would have asked for. I walked everyone. And hitter after hitter would come up there, and I continuously walk them. I'd be walking in run after run, and in my heart I'm like, put me out in right field where I belong, or bench me, but don't leave me out here walking everyone. And if only I had thought, my earned run average would have been far lower than Rivera's, because I walked everyone, and a walked in run doesn't count, right? So that's turning a very negative, I walk everyone, into a positive, no one hits off of me because I walk everyone. I have a close to zero earned run average. And many times when my clients come to me, they often feel like they have a bunch of negatives that they have to overcome to be successful. And oftentimes, those same negatives are exactly what we work with to turn them into positives, to turn them into differentiators in their market, and to make them a lot of money. And so, really, I want to encourage you guys today to think about this issue of perception. How can you take what you've perceived as a negative and turn it around and to make it into something that you own and that sets you apart and that actually makes you more money in your business? A perfect example of this is my story in business. When I started out, I felt like, I read all the Business 101 books, I read all the big business magazines, and everywhere I turned, people talked about, needing a bunch of money to start. Well, I have $50. I felt like that was a huge negative. Everywhere I turned, people were talking about getting your name out there. Well, in order to get your name out there, back then, 12 years ago, it was, you pay for advertising, you pay to be a member of the chamber, you pay to be a member of NAWBO. And I didn't have any money for that. I had $50. And so I consider these things huge negatives and something that would always have me, sort of just at par in business. And finally, I started owning them. And in today's economy, I'm sought after as a business expert because no one wants to spend money on advertising that's not working. And we're realizing that all of those strategies in the Business 101 books that I couldn't afford, well, they're not making business owners any money. People are looking for other alternatives. And so I took a huge negative that I felt like was always going to hold me back, and I turned it into a positive. You can do the same thing, by the way, when you're looking at your competitors, and you should. You should look at what your competitors are offering, how they're positioning themselves. What do they have that you don't? And take a positive that they're touting and then turn it into a negative. So if you're a very, very small business, then you can compete with the large businesses based upon, customer service, things like that. So you want to always look for ways that you can turn negatives into positives and positives into negatives. And this Rivera story from the Yankees just reminded me of that. If only I had known my ERA was a good thing, then I might have felt better about standing on that mound and walking everyone that came up to bat. I hope this helps you guys, and I will talk with you soon. You can email me at michelle@BeMichellePippin.com, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to learn more about your business and what you are struggling with and what you're succeeding at. And if you know a woman who wows in business, please nominate her to be a woman who wows at WomenWhoWow.com. Talk to you soon.